The 2025 college football season is just around the corner, and these are my best and worst case scenarios for the Auburn Tigers this season. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we're powered by our friends over at FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. Kickoff is just around the corner for the Auburn Tigers, and the expectations are sky high on the plains, and the pressure is on as Hugh Freeze enters his third season and arguably his most talented roster yet will take the field as a program that looks for progress in the upcoming season. Guys, these are my best and worst case scenarios for Auburn in this upcoming college football season. And guys, first thing I want to do here is look at the schedule, because as we all know, not all schedules in the SEC are created equally, and certainly the draw that you get goes a long way in determining what is your ceiling and floor as a program in that season. So with that being said, guys, it gets started with a bang really early, opening up the college football season on Friday, August the 29th, when Auburn travels to Baylor to take on the Baylor Bears. This one really interesting, guys, from the standpoint, we'll talk more when we get to week one, but Auburn's been a favorite. Then the line swung over to Baylor. Then it's back to Auburn. Our friends over at FanDuel can't seem to make up their minds, but certainly this game feels like a bit of a coin flip and no doubt a pick'em, and serves as a major tone setter for Auburn. You feel like if they're going to have a big year this year and reach some of the preseason expectations, they probably have to win this game, right? Then you got non-conference against Ball State, South Alabama. The SEC opener at Oklahoma is going to be huge for both programs. You think about both Hugh Freeze and Brent Venables. That is a massive game. Then you're at Texas A&M. Then you have a home stretch, Georgia, Mizzou. Then you get to the back half of your schedule. And guys, this is where it really sets up. If Auburn can start strong, you think of the way they close out the season. At Arkansas, Kentucky at home, at Vandy, Mercer at home, and then you've got the rivalry game showdown against Alabama. So the key for Auburn is going to be in those first few weeks, is going to be the front half of the schedule. The Baylor game, Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, and I even throw Missouri in there as well. If Auburn can weather the storm, if they can come out of that first, 5 or 6 game stretch, 2, 4, 6, 7 game stretch, if they can come out of that 5-2 or better, or even if you're 4-3, but I think 5-2 or better, it's going to set up really well for the Tigers to be in that college football playoff conversation. But with that being said, things can also go the other way very early on, especially if you go out in week one, stub your toe, and put yourself behind the 8 ball. So with that being said, guys, what is the best and worst case scenarios for the Auburn Tigers? Guys, for me, best case, I've got 10-2, and I can't even believe I'm saying it, but I think in a best case scenario, the offensive side of the football, and really just this roster as a whole, the big questions for me are all around Hugh Freeze, right? It really comes down to Hugh Freeze. I understand Peyton Thorne was not a good quarterback. I totally get that. But there's been this feeling over the first two years, and I think everybody would agree that Auburn has had more talent than what they've gotten production-wise. Like they've been more talented than what they've gotten out of this roster. Hugh Freeze, for whatever reason, has not been able to tap into the talent on the roster and get the most out of them. What changes? Why does that change this year? Well, guys, maybe if it does, I think Auburn can be in that college football playoff conversation, and at their very ceiling can be a playoff team, as crazy as that sounds. You got to think, guys, it's a pretty workable schedule. I mean, like I mentioned, you're going to have to pull off some upsets, no doubt. But like if you can weather the storm in the front half of that schedule and you can pull a big upset, let's say when you host Georgia, you host Alabama. You think about that. Your 2 biggest games are at home in a best case scenario. You're going to need Jackson Arnold to live up to his billing as he was as a high-profile recruit. I think he can, but you're going to need him to play really, really well under center. Safe to say you have upgraded massively at the quarterback position. You're going to have to reload at the running back position. You probably don't have a Jarquez on the roster. Maybe you do, but we just don't know that yet. but how do you replicate and replace the production from a season ago in the running game? And then the wide receiver position, guys, those guys just have to live up to their billing, and I think they will. I think the floor is really high for that group. Cam Coleman, I think, is going to be one of the most explosive players in the entire country. Eric Singleton, who you added from Georgia Tech, in the best-case scenario, obviously, he pans out and becomes that number 2 punch, and some of your other weapons step up as well. But it really, guys, a lot of it comes back to Jackson Arnold. Oh, by the way, the offensive line continues to gel as well, pave those running lanes, and obviously give your quarterback a chance back there in the pocket. Defensively, I think you just kind of keep doing what you've been doing under DJ Durkin, right? I mean, you were a top 30 defense a season ago. Maybe you take another step forward and you get to be a top 20 or top 15 defense. And also, two guys in a best-case scenario. In a best case, Auburn is winning close games late. They are finishing games. The culture has changed behind closed doors from the standpoint of you don't get to the end of games and expect bad things to happen. And this culture of blowing games late and just finding every way imaginable under the sun to lose. Instead, it's a team that has a knack for winning close ball games, has a knack late in games, closing games out. And again, that leads to some big-time victories. You build momentum early. You carry that in the back half of your schedule. You don't lose to somebody you're not supposed to. And you pull a big upset or two, and you punch your ticket to the college football playoff. In a worst-case scenario, and guys, Auburn's got one of the widest spreads for me when it comes to best case and worst case, because I think there's so many different number of outcomes for this Auburn football team this season, because I think they're one of the most volatile teams in the entire SEC. I just, guys, there's plenty of reasons not to trust Hugh Freeze. I mean, it's very easy to fall in love with this roster, but then you have to remind yourself, hey, they've had pretty good players the first 2 years as well, and it hasn't panned out. Well, why? And I understand some pieces are different. Don't get me wrong, starting at quarterback. But still, you look at it and say, how can I trust Hugh Freeze? In a worst-case scenario, guys, you're losing that season opener to Baylor. You're probably losing to Oklahoma at Oklahoma a few weeks later when Jackson Arnold actually goes back to his old stomping grounds. And guys, the momentum just turns negative and turns south and turns sour from there. I think I hate to call Auburn and the situation at Auburn very fragile, but I think we'd all agree if they get off to a rocky start, things could go south in a hurry to a point where maybe it feels like it's a team that's quit by midseason, and maybe Hugh Freeze doesn't make it to the end of the season. I mean, it could be that type of year. Like, I think things are on that hot of water for him. His seat is that hot down there on the plains where that could be the reality. Again, you go back to the schedule, guys. I mean, in the non-conference, you're definitely going worst case 3-1, right? So this will put you winning 2 conference games. Because again, in a worst case, you are losing to Baylor. I mean, your 2 conference wins, you've got Arkansas, Kentucky, Vandy. Probably in a worst case, though, Diego Pavia is beating Hugh Freeze again. You got to go to Nashville for that game, right? You're losing games to Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, Missouri, Vanderbilt, and, of course, Alabama at the end of the season. But, guys, what's crazy about this, I don't even feel like the worst-case scenario is that much of a reach. I think it could happen. Like, what if Jackson Arnold's just not good? Like, what if last year was actually, it wasn't just the injuries and the bad system at Oklahoma. He's just not really a good player. Overrated, right? What if you can't find the running game? What if for whatever reason the wide receiver position doesn't pan out? Which, again, I think the only reason it wouldn't is if quarterback play is even worse or on par with what it was a season ago. And maybe defensively, you're just not able to bail yourself out. And just, guys, the bottom line, like, things haven't changed. The more they've changed, the more they stay the same. It's the same old Auburn at the end of games, just finding the most maddening ways to lose. Auburn's still turning the football over. They're still coughing it up. They're inventing new ways to lose every single week. And again, guys, negative momentum takes hold. You struggle early, and Auburn fans are calling for Hugh Freeze's head by midseason, and things get really ugly. Maybe guys opt out. Who knows? So, again, I think it's a wide spread for Auburn. I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle, but a big year for Coach Freeze, no doubt, with a schedule that, again, pretty workable. You just got to survive the front half. We'll see if they can do it. But again, guys, I've got best case 10-2, worst case 5-7. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? We'd love to hear your thoughts. What's your best case and worst case for the Auburn Tigers in this upcoming 2025 college football season? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Before we get out of here, I do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Guys, on Tuesday, August the 26th, it's FanDuel Futures Day. How about that? A new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race, right? Whether you're going Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, hey, crown your champion in August, right? You going Ravens, you going Bills, you going Lions, you going, how about the Tennessee Titans here locally in Nashville? Or parlay your division winner dark horses. Guys, mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game over at FanDuel.com/SECU. That's FanDuel.com/SECU to get your deposit bonus today. Guys, once again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Till next time, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you on the other side.